Hey.
All right, well, we're not recording it.
Hold on, go on and record. You're not? Okay, give me some.
Yeah, just warm up.
Well, you can do a record and warming. Because you be cutting it up anyhow.
Yeah, but the noise.
Is it more work, huh? When you get
Yeah, it's already noisy enough. Let me use my decibel reader.
baby, I just made the day. I just wanna make my way to your heart. Make my way to yours. You can make me more of a person. Can I make my way to your heart? It's so hard because you're so far away. You're so far away.
Test 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check, mic check. This is why you tripping off me in the building. And we're gonna have an interesting show. Hopefully I don't get flagged for today's show. Sometimes they give you a copyright thing where you can't get sometimes you get a copyright thing where it doesn't get you in trouble. They just don't let you get AdSense.
Hey.
All right, well, we're not recording it.
Hold on, go on and record. You're not? Okay, give me some.
Yeah, just warm up.
Well, you can do a record and warming. Because you be cutting it up anyhow.
Yeah, but the noise. Is
it more work, huh? When you get
already noisy enough. Let me use my decibel reader. Yeah, that's Pops. That's he gave me that he the one that introduced me to music. He the one that gave me the inspiration. He started me into music when I was 6 years old. I started getting lessons and stuff like that. And he did, he could have went to Motown, but he decided to get a regular job, and he was making the same amount of money as the artist, believe it or not. He had the same things as the artist. We had a home and a Cadillac and clothes and stuff like that. But he did start singing gospel professionally later on in life. Way later on in life, he started singing gospel. And he was on my last 3 albums. And he used to sing around the house with tape recorders, singing with a bucket over his head for the acoustics, singing in the cabinets, under the sink, in the bathroom. And I said, if I ever learn how to record, I'm going to record him professionally and let him hear himself professionally recorded. If I ever learn and attain the tools. And this is when I was young, and I had no idea what tools was going to be available to us all these years later. And so we did one album where it's a double front cover, and his face is on one side and my face is on the other side, and he looks like a Motown artist, and I look like a black astronaut, and it's like the future meets the past. It's a crazy album called Mechanized Soul. It's an import, and we did that in 2008, and the price started out at $32, believe it or not, because it was an import. I don't know how much it is now and how much of a collector item it is now, but it is a rare release now. It was only so many pressed up. But today we're gonna get into cults on a serious note. I know we've been joking the last 2 lives about cults. And cults are a very serious thing, and I want to show this footage. And this YouTube channel gets advertising and everything, and I just made another video using some material from somebody's channel, and the YouTube said, okay, you can't get access, but you can use it. So I hope that this happens this time. And so what I'm going to have to do to make sure that the channel holder or YouTube won't flip with me, I'm going to have to pause it every now and then and make a statement. That's the best way to do it. But today we're going to explore HeavensGate, because people try to say that the Carbonnation cult is like on the level of Jim Jones and Charles Manson and all that stuff. And today I'm going to prove to you that he's nowhere near that level. And I'm going to use HeavensGate as an example, because they were one of the first internet cults. Let me read the chat room real quick.
Hey. All right, we're not recording it. Oh, look, go on and record. You're not? Okay, give me some. Yeah, just warm up. Well, you can do it.
Yeah, it is amazing how kids can pick up that, because I seen a video where a boy around 2 or 3 was playing the drums with a symphony or something. He was playing the drums with a symphony. But, when you don't know what you're up against, like when you don't know how difficult it is to do something and you just like to do something, you could pick it up because you don't know, the difficulties in it. You just know how fun it is, and you know what I'm saying? And I was started playing the saxophone at 6, and I had to play the alto because it was lighter than the tenor, and I had to sit the butt of it on the case just to play it. So yeah, it's crazy. And so today's show is gonna freak you out. I'm not gonna be able to see if YouTube is giving me a warning because I'm not gonna be on that page. But I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm trying to use another computer to see what YouTube is saying behind the scenes in case I'm violating something. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to pull this off, but I'm trying to catch my live the background stuff on my other computer. Oh really? Well, that must be another kid then, because I seen a video. I didn't press play. It was a kid on stage. He was like 3 with a full symphony or something like that. But it might have been the same kid. He just blowing up right now. But I did see a kid play before a while ago too, playing the drums. Some of them kids start in church, man. They be playing. They put them on the drums when they like 5 years old, and sometimes they can't even play. But you come back 6 weeks, 6 months later, and they like Max Roach on the drums. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to I've set it up where I can because usually when I play a video, I don't have no control over it. It plays, and then the commercial play, and then it has the automatic thing where it goes to the next video. And the last time I went live, not the last time, but on another time, it was just I had to play another video before the commercial come on. But yeah, it's crazy. But this time I got more control of the video. I can press pause and play, and that's going to help me. It's going to reduce the chances of me. Like I said, I doubt if they cut the channel off, what they would do is just say you can't collect money off of this video. But I'm not even on. Believe it or not, I'm not even on that level yet. And I'm going live late night because I'm trying to be like the big timers. The big timers go late night and have an audience. So anyway, what I want to do is see HeavensGate made their money through designing websites for people and doing web related jobs. And they had 38 people in the house, because we're trying to do a comparison to Carbonnation and HeavensGate, because some people think that there's this huge urgency to save these adults, you know what I'm saying? And these people already had that mind state. They already had those thoughts, and they were looking for someone who was on the same, for a lack of words or to keep it flowing, they were looking for someone on the same frequency. So they hear this dude and they go, oh, he thinks like I do, and he's more confident in thinking like I do, so I'm gonna hand him the steering wheel. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's going to take him some time. I mean, y'all, if you impressed with his level of manipulation, great. I'm not, because I've been studying cults for a while. And like I said, not all cults are bad, but when they do bad things, that's when they become bad. But we're going to examine HeavensGate. And this is the third time that I've shown HeavensGate, and the same clip. but this time I'm gonna do commentating. But this video clip is gonna prove that Nature Boy is a novice cult leader. He's an inadequate cult leader, and he's only a poser. You see what I'm saying? And everybody's doing what they're doing at their own free will, because the members of HeavensGate, they was in this cult for 20 years before they committed suicide. There was only one member that I know of that was a black lady who only been in that cult for 6 months, and she committed suicide with the group only being in the group 6 months. But the other people that committed suicide, they had been in there 10, 20 plus years, and most of them was either college students or in and out of incarceration. No matter how square and innocent they look, they did some serious time, and you would never even guess. And they still didn't use the word incarceration. They just said that we left the group, or I left the group. I've been in and out. I did some, I went on a vacation, but they never. I know I could read between the lines. They were either in the mental hospital or incarceration. And I hope you hang out for this, because I think last time you fell asleep, but we were just goofing off. I was just goofing off last time. But I hope this keeps you, what you're about to hear, keeps you on the edge of your seat. And when you see how loyal, because I just got through watching, I'm going to keep it real. I just got through watching World News. And, say what you want to say about him. I didn't like what went down between him and Fundi. But this particular show where he interviewed an ex-Carbonnation member, it was impressive. He started showing pictures of Tron and stuff like that, and he really kind of broke it down on this one. I gotta hand it to him. Oh, cool. Hang out on this one. Try to hang in on this one, because I know it's a time zone and all that stuff. So yeah, so I had to hand it to him. The reason why it took me so long to go live, because I was trying to set up a good show. I was trying to make sure the artwork and the music and everything was great, and I was doing some creative listening to some people's shows and hearing what they saying. Now, one thing I didn't like that he said, and that another channel holder, I hate that term, because a channel holder, it could be someone who doesn't even do live stream or post videos. You can hold a channel without being a content creator, but let's use the word channel holder. 2 channel holders said that these other people are clout chasing. They are not doing anything to try to stop Nature Boy. Oh, good, because here is super late. It's 2:13 a.m. and I usually be in the studio until 3:30 anyway. So like I probably end in 30 minutes and then use that last bit of time to do some music and stuff in the studio before I crash. So yeah, but I think we all like information. We like to find out things and understand things, and I feel like when we do these things, we do this together. But this is freaky, because these people hustled up enough money to get them a nice place in Southern California, and they're close to nature. They will you will hear the birds chirping and everything in the background, and they're out in the sunny California, out in the rural suburban area. Damn, I knew it was a time zone difference. I knew that a lot of people that rock with me is on the Eastern Standard Time and stuff like that, and I appreciate it. That's why I hope some people catch it on the playback. Now, when I go live around 6 or anytime before 8 o'clock out here, it's lovely, but once it's past 10 p.m. out here, you just gotta pretend like you got an audience, unless you're a big YouTuber. There is a popular Negro YouTuber that's live right now. I have him on the screen, but the volume is down. So so anyway, I'm surprised nobody's saying play the damn video already. The build up. Yeah, it's all about the build up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to camouflage the algorithms. I'm gonna try to play, while I'm playing the video, I'm gonna play a track in the background, so to camouflage the fact that I'm playing the video, and hopefully the YouTube censors won't pick up the video. Now, if the music is too much of a distraction from the video, then I'm just gonna fade or mute the music out. You see what I'm saying? I already heard another channel holder. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Well, I heard another channel holder say, "I can't with your music," and sometimes, well, she wasn't talking about my personal music. She was talking about the generic iTunes music that I use in the videos, and that music is meant to be it's meant to agitate, and it's meant to be funny. So if the music ain't funny, then it's meant to agitate. So when she said that, I was like, okay, it did what I wanted it to do. But on this show, and when I go live on my live shows, I play nothing but my own tracks, so I don't have to worry about any policies being broke. And yeah, you don't know who I'm talking about now, but she know who I'm talking about. When she heard me say that phrase, I don't know if she watched this show, but she said that she know my other alias accounts. So shout out to her, because she's cool people, and I watch her show, but I have to keep it all on the hush hush. But you know who I'm talking about. When they go live, they have a totally black screen. You see what I'm saying? But I'm going to work with her later. I'm going to try to see if she wants to have imagery like I do, and I can help her with that. I'm gonna be doing a webinar with hopefully with a few people. One person I thought I was going to do a webinar just disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't see her Instagram account or anything. I hope she's all right. But I'm being very vague and ambiguous. So let's get, well, you know what? I'm actually trying to delay. Just in case a few people walk in the room. Now, we do have some lurkers, and shout out to the lurkers. And the cool thing is, if you don't got nothing to say, I feel you. Sometimes it ain't nothing to be said, and you trying to figure out what this dude trying to do. I actually hope that there's somebody from the nation of Carbon paying attention, because once I play this video and break it down and to show you what a real code is about, some diehards, you're gonna feel. You might feel a little more better about your position and what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because these people don't play. These people thought that living was suicide. Now, let me see you trump that, Mr. Eligio Bishop. These people in this group thought that living was suicide. You see what I'm saying? And dying was a rebirth, or being born, or shedding your your cocoon, they referred to their body as a vehicle. So they didn't die, they just left their vehicle. Now that's game. Yeah, they probably is, but you know what? Dude is so narcissistic. I bet you he don't sleep. He sleep about 3 hours. I bet you he is peeping game. And anyway, let's go into the theater. Let's switch to the theater. All right. Hold tight. I'm gonna mute my mic. Okay, here we go. Like I said, I'm going to try to pull a slick one. I'm going to try to camouflage some of the audio from the video, and hopefully that'll be enough to where it won't get the YouTube police on me. Okay? Also, this video is from Sam Johnson's YouTube channel. That's Sam Johnson. Shout out to Sam Johnson. I hope that if you get notified about this, that you will allow me to do this, because this is for educational purposes. Okay? All right.
Okay, we're going to begin our interviews today with Soroti. How long have you been in this classroom circumstance?
I've been in here since Valentine's Day 21 years ago.
Okay, and is there anything in particular you would like to say?
What would I like to say? Oh goodness. There's so much I want to say to you. Just about anything that would be of any significance to you is already on HeavensGate. I mean, this is kind of, in one sense, kind of silly. I would really strongly recommend, if you could find HeavensGate, the book or the website, go there.
Did you hear that? He said since Valentine's Day 21 years ago. Now, this cult committed suicide back when Halley's Comet had came to near the Earth. So, yeah, let me just keep it going. But I do have to pause it. Hopefully that'll protect me from getting in any trouble.
Study it, read it. It would do you a lot of good. Maybe on a more personal note, there's a number of you out there that have probably been in contact with me personally. A number of the classmates that you'll be seeing on this tape. And remember how you felt when we were there. Remember, what it was like to work with us and to be with us. And you'd probably do better off trusting that rather than whatever information you run across on the TV. I'm sure there's going to be some stuff come out about this that can't give the perspective that you would have. So trust your own feeling rather than what you hear from someone else. I mean, that'd be my primary advice to give. The other thing, and I hope this is okay, but Pastor Murray, just because you've had a contact with someone from an extraterrestrial circumstance doesn't mean that they're any more trustworthy than someone who hasn't. I mean, the Mormons, supposedly, John Smith had the same sort of contact. And a space alien doesn't mean that he's from the kingdom of God. So
everybody, let me tell you this. Oh, you remember this, Key? Cool. Everybody in these videos, I'm sorry, everybody that you will see in this video committed suicide the next day. So these are testimonies from the cult members, and they want to tell you their story, and they want to tell you how how proud and honored they feel to be in this group and how special this group is. All right.
So, you would do well to do some research as well in the same regard. I hope I'm not going overboard by naming these people, but Kenneth Copeland, Jen and Paul Crouch, Kenneth Copeland in particular, Ken and Gloria. For a while, we were really thought that you were picking up on next level information. You were being a good instrument, and then you go off into this thing. And this was some time ago. Go off into this thing where you're telling people that if they want to get wealthy, then they need to, give more money to people. They need to tithe more. I mean, come on. Where do you get this stuff? Your focus is wrong. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably stepping out of line here. Paul and Jen Crouch, you sat there and you pleaded to be the emissaries for the second coming when it arrived. You wanted to be the ones that had all the infrastructure all set up and ready to go and be prepared for his return. And did you know that we were in your prayer groups for a while? We actually did some of your accounting for a while. I mean, we were right there. And you've had ample opportunity. We even sent you a tape of the Beyond Human series. And what we got back in return was a warning about cults. I mean, T and Doe have tried and tried and tried to give all of you a shot that say you've been looking for this, but you're looking in all the wrong places.
Yeah, what's up, Observer? Now, I think this guy used to work for an evangelist like Kenneth Copeland and stuff like that. So some of these people think, like with the carbonation thing, people, they say that these people are slow and naive and, a lot of derogatory things, Now, for the record, Aya is slow, all right? But the rest of them, is not slow. They just, they got this way how they feel about the world, and a bunch of people found each other, just like this group. They found each other, and they all view the world the same way. Now, the funny thing is, now I'm not perfect, and I don't get everything right, and I may make a few mistakes tonight in my discernment, but I've been studying this HeavensGate code, and some of my information is a little rusty, but I also studied the group that didn't commit suicide, the ones that were left behind. Either they were told not to do it, or they were kicked out of the group before they did it, and these people feel like they were abandoned, like they family left them. It's really crazy. But it's about to get. This ain't nothing. This is the build up to crazy talk. All right. Now, their leader T and Doe were they were like regular ministers, like regular evangelists. But then they switched up and went cult-like. Now, mostly their members are all from college. Like, they recruited members from college. They would have their meetings on college campuses. They put up flyers and people would show up. And they actually closed the group where only like they was only going to allow a certain amount of members in. So the last people that was allowed in the group was a black couple, and they actually felt honored that they were let in as the last people that could join. They even gave up their twins to be in Heaven's Gate. So if anybody told you it wasn't no black people in Heaven's Gate, there was at least 3 or 4 black people in Heaven's Gate, and one was a married couple with a new set of twins. They gave up the twins to be in the cult because nobody they didn't have kids in the cult. But the husband quit the cult, got his kids back, and the wife stayed in, and she committed suicide with the group, with only being in the group 6 months. But other members, like I said, had been in the group for 10 to 20 years. Oh, I got you. I got you, Key. So, like I said before, Heaven's Gate is a trip. They used the internet to make money, but they didn't beg for donations. They actually did work through the internet by designing websites, and they was able to provide for themselves, buy clothes. They had uniforms they wore. They had a selective tennis shoe brand they wore. They really act like when they were in a house, they act like they were on a ship. So when they end up they thought that when they leave their vehicle, they would be their body, which they call the vehicle, that once they be on the ship that's coming with Halley's Comet, that they would just act the same way on the ship. They know that the ship had limited space and blah 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 blah, but they were so strict inside that house that only a select 5 people, not rotating 5 people, but only 5 people could go in and out the house, because they didn't want the neighbors to know that it was so many people in the house. You know what I'm saying? So the neighbors never caught on because the same 5 people came in and out the house. All right. They made their money and also got new members via the net, just like our modern primitive infantile cult of carbonation. So today you're gonna learn how a real cult rolls, and how people say that he's controlling their minds and he's manipulating them. Well, I'm going to show you through Heaven's Gate, a real cult, how real mind manipulation works. Because these people, when you're listening to them smile and laugh and giggle and crack jokes and look all happy, they all know that tomorrow they're drinking the Kool-Aid. It wasn't a surprise. They making this video to say goodbye. So when you're looking at them all laughing and smiling and giggly, they know that they're about to leave this vehicle, as they call it. And they didn't believe in gender identity. I'm going to save some more of my commentary for later, because I'm going to have to pause it, I think, every 30 seconds or something like that. But once we finish this, it'll be the end of the show, and it shouldn't take too long. Anyway.
I didn't mean to go on at all. I didn't mean to make such a... And I'm not singling just you out, but you were ones that we actually took an interest in for a while and then got disappointed. Hopefully this is not to criticize. This is hopefully to help from someone who has heard some of this stuff.
Okay, before we move on to Questodi, one last question. How do you feel about what is ahead for us?
This is the happiest day of my life. I mean, I've been looking for this for so long. Some would probably sit here and, somebody on the other side of this camera watching this tape would probably say, what's going on? You all must not have a life, or you're deluded, or you're brainwashed, or whatever the thinking might be. It's hard to tune into. From our perspective, from my perspective, this is godsend. I mean, this is the answer to everything. You know, these flesh vehicles. I mean, if you use the analogy of a car, and you know, people may keep their cars for a long time before they finally wear out and they clunk out and they die on them, and you know, they go and get another car. Or some people, they say, well, you know, here's a newer model, it's much nicer, and this one, you know, doesn't quite perform the way I could, and I'd like to move into this new car. So get rid of the old one, get a new one. I mean, that's about all we're talking about. It's not a big deal. I'm talking too long, so I'll pass up. This isn't a troubling circumstance. Don't take it as that. It's just a gateway, just a doorway.
Okay, thank you.
The quest study. I guess you're next.
I'm not sure I'm going to follow that up.
So do you have any, anything particular you'd like to say?
Well, a few days ago,
Well, there is some similarities. They don't look at death as death. You see what I'm saying? They feel like if you obtain a certain level of knowledge ahead of time, you shouldn't have to wait to go to the next level. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to use their train of thought and their train of thinking. See, even with carbonation, you have some channel holders that feel like they're really breaking carbonation down and going and making them struggle or whatever by interviewing family members and former members, and that's going to force them to run off the internet and lose new people that might be interested. But you really have to understand their mentality and mind state, and it seems like even the people that's interviewed, they still hold back information, but you have to think as they do to understand them, because if you slip on one point, they'll go, oh, he's not on the frequency, she don't know what she's talking about, they're the enemy. But if you use their own, instead of calling their philosophy wrong, learn their philosophy and then use their philosophy against them. The perfect example is the computer in Space Odyssey in 2001 with the computer HAL 3000 or something like that. HAL. The computer killed a bunch of astronauts on the way to Jupiter. To make a long story short, they had been going back and forth to the moon, but there was another monolith in Jupiter and that was out in space, and they wanted to go see what was going on over there. So they was journeying towards Jupiter, and the artificial intelligent computer that was controlling the atmosphere and the life support killed all the astronauts but one on the way there. But one of the ways the astronaut saved his own life is he used the computer logic against himself, because the computer felt like anything that had a flaw should die. Anything that was imperfect should be destroyed. And so the astronaut convinced the computer that he had made a mistake. I think I got the movie right, even though he still had to go inside the computer and pull the plug on him. But yeah, it was crazy. So let's get back to the video.
I've been in the class for 3 years, just about 3-4 days ago, and I don't know, I just feel like I've learned so much about the next level and Kingdom of God, Kingdom of Heaven, and on how best to cut all ties, attachments, and addictions to self and this world. And this is my prepared statement. It's very simple. And I don't know, I think my constant asking long before I entered the class was the key, the constant begging for the real facts, the real truth, as how to get out of this world and grow beyond it, rise above it, and leave it behind, both self and this world. And T and Do are my older members, and they're from the next level, and they've shown me by their example and the next level ways, behavior and conduct for a beginner in the next level. And I must never forget that my free will and options and choices allow me to either keep looking up to the next level and my older members, or older members' chain of mind, or to look away, and which results in separation and death, similar to cutting a leaf from a tree. And as long as I look to my older members in the next level, I will have unlimited growth. And I look greatly forward to being of unlimited service in my new kingdom level, where all creation originates, also in my new next level vehicle.
Now, these people don't have a pistol to their head. You would think that somebody's on the other side of the camera with a shotgun pointed at them. These people are reading off of a script. They're actually reading a prepared statement. And shout out to Ann411, who's a content creator, and she comes with the news. She comes with the serious side of the black sector. But yeah, you would think somebody's on the other side of the camera with a 9mm. But I wanted to wait to say this later because I need stuff to say because I have to keep stopping it. But I can't. I want to say this now because I don't want to wait till later. To show their dedication to the group, at least six members of HeavensGate went to Mexico and got legally castrated to show their dedication to the group, because they don't believe in gender identity, because when they leave that vehicle that they walk around in on Earth, when they go to the next level, they don't need a gender. That's why they all have these Spock haircuts, and they try not to show they try to make the women and the men look similar. See, there's a lot of accidental similarities to carbonation, and as we go on, you will see. But these people are serious, though.
Body or suit clothes, whatever you want to call it. I want to thank my father, Do and T, and prove my loyalty, and for them helping me and nourishing my next level mind. I feel the utmost respect and honor for the price they paid to endure for my sake and my classmates' sakes, the entering into such a world as this one has become. And I don't think words basically would do it at all. I don't know. All I can say is, what's next, and that I love T and Do in the next level.
Just before we break, and yes, and what Custody said sounds a lot better than what I said. We don't know what's going to happen there. We don't know how much longer this civilization's even going to continue on, and so all this may be mute, but whatever time is worth, that's why we're saying these things.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much, and I guess we'll move on to the next interviewees.
These people are in tears. They are so excited about going to the next level. They're so excited about leaving this vehicle to be on the next level where they don't need this vehicle anymore. And they were not allowed to have sex. If they did have sex, they would be punished. They had to get permission. I mean, just to turn on a light switch, there was a protocol. They had to act like they were on the ship. Really. A lot of them is going to be teary-eyed when they tell their story about their dedication. I might have to skip through it also because it seemed like this is going to be time-consuming. And I really want you to see the sister. Now, one of the guys is the brother of the lady from Star Trek. So the lady, Lieutenant Uhura, her brother was in Heaven's Gate. Some of you already know that.
Sorry.
And this lady on the right is actually very, very young, but she looks 15 years older than what she is.
People that might, get this tape, and we just wondered if you had anything particularly you wanted to say to people.
Well, I just want to let everyone know how lucky and happy I feel to be here, and let you know that what we're about to do is certainly nothing to think negatively about. We're all choosing of our own free will, go to the next level with T and Doe. And they are certainly not what the media is going to paint them out to be. I never got to meet T in this incarnation in her human vehicle, but I can tell you that Doe is the most special, dignified, unhuman, objective person that you can ever meet.
That's right.
He has helped us so much and put up with so much and never done anything that seemed even close to the way a human would respond. And I guess that's really all I want to say.
That sounded pretty good.
Now check this out. Check this out. See, some things are going to slip by if you don't really know the details. Now, she's one of the cult leaders. See, it was a husband and wife team that was the leader of this group. The wife died from a sickness, and he had to explain that. He had to make something up. He said it really messed his plans up. He actually, when his wife died, he knew that he might start losing members and people might start losing faith in him because she wasn't supposed to die. They was all going to commit suicide together eventually, but they don't call it suicide. Remember, they call living suicide. But all of them have to have the name Doe after their name, and they all have to have the same outfits, the same Spock haircuts, if it's possible. And they don't believe in gender identity, and they can't have sex, but sometimes human beings slip, and they do get punished if they do. And I guess T had died, so his excuse was T left early so she could be the middle person between the aliens or the people in the next level and them, and she was going to be the ambassador for the group. So that's how he explained that. But now he knew that he was getting old, and if he died before everybody else, that everything would dissipate or something. So when the Halley's Comet thing came around, that was his out. He said, oh yeah, that's the signal we've been waiting for. And then astronomers said that there were a secondary object that was following the comet, and they couldn't explain what that secondary object was, and that really gave him an out. He said that secondary object is the spaceship we're waiting for, and the only way we can board it if we leave this vehicle, our bodies, we'll be able to board that ship. So let's carry on. So she said that she never met T, but she met Doe and he's the nicest guy ever, whatever.
Okay. And Wakenodi, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes. I think I feel just like Arasodi does, and if people would just know that we're not forced into this in any way, it's, our own choosing to do it, and I'm really happy that I made this choice, because there was a lot of things kind of working against me not to, I'm sure. I know there was people in the world who thought that I had completely lost my marbles. They're not right. I couldn't have made a better choice, and I think I need to every day thank T and O on the next level for even letting me be here, because they don't need anybody. Just I could say a lot more too, but for some reason we always get kind of emotional when we start trying to convey our true feelings, because we know, I think, that the media is going to just whatever. They're not going to present it the way we would like to be presented. Anyway.
How can you laugh and giggle when you know that tomorrow you're going to leave your vehicle? I don't get it.
I wish you could all be here. I wish you were as lucky and fortunate as we are, I guess.
And we're looking forward to meeting T real soon in her next level vehicle, and us in our next level vehicle.
And what Arasodi said about Doe is just so right. I don't think any of us could be more happy.
Okay.
That's all we got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have Janodi and Livodi with us today. Livodi on the left, Janodi on the right. How long have the two of you been in this classroom circumstance?
Well, Janodi and I, both these vehicles.
Now, yeah, they do look like boys, but they would say that they don't believe in gender identity, because when they go to the next level, a gender identity wouldn't be necessary, because they won't have human flesh bodies that require a gender. So that's why they have the Spock haircuts and they lean towards the masculine look.
Ended up being a couple that were in Oregon in 1975, and we took these two vehicles. You've probably heard of the news media story in 75 about a bunch of people disappearing from Walport, Oregon. Well, we're still here, and not for long. We're very happy and proud to have been members of Tito's class, and couldn't be happier about what we're about to do. Doubt was never an issue. Certainly, at times, temptations of the vehicle or dumb influences might turn our heads for this reason or that, but there's always a deep down knowing that from the moment of seeing T and know that this is why I'm here, to take this vehicle and do this task. And always knew that I knew T and O from before this time, that there was strong recognition.
What is so funny? You're dying tomorrow. You're gonna drink the I don't know what it was. It was something sweet though. It was like champagne and some stuff. I don't know. Beer. I don't know. It was something sweet with liquor in it. It was the last kegger.
Same way.
Only thing I can think is that, it seems like probably the ones who will be the
blame will be pointed at would be T and Do, and we've always had free reign to come and go and believe or not believe since day one in the class, and in fact more times than not T and Do would put effort into pushing anybody out of the class that didn't want to be here, and wasn't just full steam ahead with what they.
Hold on. Ann keeps bringing up the fact that it's white people. So we're going to skip to one of 2 or 3 of the Negroes in Heaven's Gate. This guy is the oldest member of Heaven's Gate, and he's Negro, and his sister was a famous actress on Star Trek. His sister was Lieutenant Uhura. Okay?
That's probably nothing.
Okay, well, thank you
Thank
both
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Destody with us, and Destody, how long have you been in this classroom circumstance?
Since March of '76, that'd be 21 years.
Okay, and so you met T and Do at that time, or did you attend a meeting? How did you find out about them?
Well, that's a long story, but suffice to say that when I heard the information, I was overwhelmed.
21 years, ladies and gentlemen, since March of '76 until the Halley's Comet came near planet Earth.
Individually searched for T and Do because I didn't make a meeting. And after about a month, I found them, and I've been with them ever since. Boy, that opens up a big door. You've probably heard from everyone, quite a few people before me, and they've all expressed what the class has meant to them and what they've learned in the class, but it's hard to express in human.
Now, they didn't find him, he found them. And that's how most of their members, got with them. But they did put out flyers whenever they came to certain colleges to have their presentations. But he said he sought them out. And I guess because his sister was in a science fiction show, that he had a open mind about these type of things.
Language, what we know or what we feel from what we've learned in the classroom, and I'm no exception. I'm having a very difficult time, and I'll try to express exactly what I feel. T and Do were 2 individuals that were known to, or were said to have come from the next level with information for humans on how to get out of this kingdom level into their kingdom level. Overwhelmed was a word that I use to express what went on with my psychic, with my physical body, with everything, just hearing that. It's something that I felt very close to, very dear to, and very important, and it answered a lot of things that I was asking consciously and subconsciously, which were things like, what's next for me? What is...
I'm pausing right here for no reason at all. I just have to pause right here just in case YouTube be tripping. This is for educational purposes. I hope that Sam Johnson will allow me to use this as an example to describe and observe how a real cult operates. Unfortunately, this cult had a sad ending. They still have members left, and this cult is still in operation. But yes, we're using this to show you what a real cult alike, and we could talk about the differences and the similarities to carbonation. But once you witness a cult like this, you will know that carbonation has a long way to go. All right.
Life about why am I here? What is the meaning of life? Since I've been in the class, I've learned the answers to all of those. My older members, T and Do, which are members from the next level, have been the best teachers to give that information. And as a result of that, I'm here, and I'm very, very happy here. I don't know what I did to deserve to be here. And I'm embarrassed that I can't express, without getting emotional, how good I feel about what I'm doing and how good I feel about being here and being given this opportunity to go to the next level. Just the opportunity, is the gift, is just it's overwhelming is the only word that I can come up with now.
Well, I guess that answers any other questions we would have asked you.
I didn't know that I was going to talk so much, but
no, that was very clear.
Like I said, we all feel very emotional about the gift that we've been given. And I'm the happiest person in the world.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting from this point on. And I might, after her, I might skip to the next Negro. But this, you know, you got to read in between the lines on this one. This one is really, this interview right here is really out there. All right.
Okay, so Vodi, you've been in the classroom for a number of years now. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, I joined with T and Do in September 1st, 1975, after the meeting they held at La Cañada in the San Francisco Bay Area. And that's when I began at that time.
Okay, and is there anything in particular you'd like to say about your time in the classroom?
Well, when I knew that I'd be given the opportunity to speak to any who might be interested in what we might have to say, I tried to zero in on what I thought might be helpful to you. And as Joe mentioned, I'm one who left the class after having been in it for 6 years and returned into the world. From my experience both in and out of the classroom, and from my experience with the being cared for, nurtured, and guided by the next level, I feel I could recommend that if you recognize the next level information is true, now or in the future, the best thing you could do is to pursue it with every ounce of energy you have and continue to cling to the next level representative with your whole strength so that they can call you faithful. It's up to each individual.
Listen closely to this level of insanity. If you don't have members in your cult this dedicated, you don't really have a cult. Okay?
Individual to prove to the next level that the next level is all that they want and that there's nothing in the human kingdom to hold them here. It's up to us to show the next level, not for the next level to show us. Next level is very generous and fair, and they give each individual many chances. I think how the Bible said it was something like 70 times 7, which is a number representing a lot. And as long as you show with your sincerity that you want to clean the slate, they do it for you repeatedly. If you can convince them that you are sincere in what you want, that would be to serve them. And those who might have, I feel that those who might have recognized the next level but turned away from it for one reason or another, anywhere, whether in a meeting or having been with us, they may need to plead repeatedly, like I did over a long period of time, to show that they're sincere. But if you knock on the door and continue.
Like I said, these are random stops. I have to stop. Educational purposes and reasons for showing this is to demonstrate cult life and what a real cult is about. Unfortunately, this cult had a tragic ending, but let's continue.
When you ask you to serve the next level, they won't forsake you. I'm so glad that T guided me back to Dawn, and I'm so glad that we'll be joining T again in the next level very soon. I really feel, which was your last question, how do I feel about it? I feel very honored and very, very lucky that I wasn't stuck back in the world where I chose to make the mistake of going for a while.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have Star Odie and Glenn.
Look, just look at them. I ain't even gotta play the video. I could just leave it here and we can just talk. But I'm gonna play the video.
Glenn Odie with us now. How long have you been in this classroom circumstance, Star Odie?
I am fortunate enough to have been in the class for 21 years. I had a lot of lessons I needed to learn compared to some of the others. And I was one of the lucky ones to come in Los Angeles. When I heard T and Doe talk, I just couldn't deny it. I had to come. That's all there is to it.
And Glenn Odie?
Well, first off, I wanted to apologize for my appearance. I slept on my hair wrong last night. As you can see, it's just a mess. Anyway, I've been in the class also since 1975, and I've never left, and I never would leave. This is just the greatest thing. It's the only thing there is.
Wow, Los Angeles, San Francisco, they get around. And most of the people joined either 75 or 76. I think Haley's Comet came around the same time as the big earthquake in San Francisco. I think Haley's Comet came around 89. No, that's too soon. Haley's Comet probably came around 90 something, 92. I'm not sure. But shout out to Scientology. A Zerber in the house.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you'd like to share about your experiences in the classroom, either one of you?
Well, I just think I wanted to try to express that in the same way that everybody in the world isn't 32 years old. Their souls and spirits are different ages. And just like the person who's in his doctoral degree studying quantum mechanics or something, he can't explain to the second grader what he's learned and what he's doing. But the second grader can say, well, I'm learning addition and subtraction this week. And the older student can say, oh, I kind of remember back when I was doing that. But the second grader, there's no way to tune into what college level students. So, there is no way for us to explain to the people who are probably watching this tape what's going on. They're not going to understand. We understand that.
Well, they're like me. They can try their very, very best, and I'm sure that will be good enough to the next level. Just do the very best you can. That's all they expect you to do.
I just got a notification for Ann's 411 show. It's probably going to pop up on the screen any second. And this is not the DU recorder. This is an OBS studio. Okay, back to the show.
And we do have a book out that they can learn all the things from. That he was very, very, that Glenn Odie has been very, very prominent in helping to put that book out on the computer. That's where he is all the time, in front of the computer. And
well, I'd just like to clarify that basically the whole book was written by our older member Doe, and I did some work on the computer to put it together, but it's mostly T and Doe. And I was very glad to have an opportunity to work on it.
Both of us were very lucky and fortunate to be able to be with T and Doe when T was in body here on this earth. Is that correct?
That's very correct.
Okay, these are the real techies of Heaven's Gate. These are the the webmasters and stuff like that. These are the super geeks, all right? OG geek right there.
There's just no way of describing how great it's been, how much we're looking forward to what's ahead for us now, because it's just what we've been working for all these years. It's just the answer to all of our prayers.
I couldn't have had a better life than I've had in these 21 years. And if it was good here, I know it's going to be twice as good when I get up there. We're looking forward to it. And it's been fun all the way. I've had fun going.
I did want to recommend on our website, we have a picture.
Oh, and this next piece is actually dedicated to the unfortunate members who were brainwashed and lost their lives in this cult. This next piece is an ambient track called Event Horizon, and this track will play throughout the rest of this video presentation until we switch modes.
Of what we feel like a member of the next level might look like, because the next level isn't just non-physical. They do have bodies, even though their physical characteristics are different from what are here. But we don't know if it's entirely accurate, but we feel like because of the way Doe helped bring that picture about and didn't feel so good about it, it must be very close. But we're looking forward to being one of the next level bodies.
Okay, thank you very much.
CRM, it stands for Customer Relationship Management, and it could revolutionize the way you run your business. So how do you pick the right one?
Okay, we're gonna skip a little bit. We're gonna skip to some other members. All right, yeah, we're gonna skip to the group right before the sister. This group is interesting right here. Boom. All right, return the volume. Yes, I want my own code. I started a code. It's called Trip Nation. Check out my last live.
Realize that needed to make changes individually, that I needed to be changing myself rather than being concerned about other individuals. And spent more time then looking into the spiritual area. And I checked out the Christian-based religions and Eastern religions, and attended a Unitarian church. And still, it was always puzzling because there just wasn't that the answer enough to satisfy you. And it was like there was always that missing piece. And the vehicle was in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time when members came and gave a meeting there at the library, and I heard this information, and it was like, wow, there's the missing pieces. And it was like a relief, because it finally made sense that it was a real place, and that it would take some training to fit in with tasks there. It'd be like an astronaut training program. And I thought, who wouldn't want to overcome the world? And with T and Do's help, we've been able to do that. I feel like I want to share that the package that I deal with has had to deal with being judgmental, critical, impatient, perhaps too internal, which causes a separation, and like food too much, too stubborn. And that's just a few of the things that I've dealt with. But I feel like my teachers have been incredibly patient with me.
Completely off their rocker. Here go the Spock haircuts again, and they all have to put the name Doe after their name, just like everybody had to put, on Instagram, where they had to put the whatever they had to put after their name. Anyway, back to the video.
And with my classmates, and I was very aware that unless I was constantly asking, that they could not help me, because it is not their way to push anything on a student. And I want to thank T and Do on the Next Level for allowing me to be here and to shortly enter the literal kingdom of heaven. And it's just so exciting, because it is a real place, and I wish more humans knew that instead of the illusion that they currently are believing in. After you've been with someone for 21 years, you really know them and had a chance to really observe them firsthand. And I think the reason that I know that T and Do are my older members particularly is because of their behavior over that period of time. They've been painfully honest with us in sharing their mistakes, their joys, their thoughts, their actions, and their
I'm very impatient. I want to go ahead and skip to the lady who gave up her newborn twins with her husband to join HeavensGate. So I'm going to skip to the end of their interview, the last couple of seconds, and then it's going to go on to the other part.
What I've been searching for a long time, and I knew it even before I read it, and I knew it was the most important thing in my life. And sure enough, when I got the statements, I just couldn't stop reading. I knew. And ever since I've been in the class, there's never been a doubt for a moment that this is where I'm heading, and that Doe is my older member. And I wish I had the opportunity to meet T, but I know that I soon will, very shortly, and I can't wait. And I just want to take this opportunity to say how grateful and thankful and that I am to be in this class, how blessed I am to be in this class. And to thank my older member Doe and his older member T for coming here and offering us the chance to overcome this world and give us the opportunity to enter the true kingdom of God, the evolutionary level above human, and to become a next level member. And I can't believe, I just couldn't even begin to comprehend how difficult that task must have been and has been. And I just want to make it known to everybody how grateful and thankful I am. And I don't think words can express it.
Okay. Is that all?
I think so.
Oh no.
I appreciate that those put up.
Sex is a no-no for Heaven's Gate. And there is no gender identity. Okay, keep that in mind, because the body that they are possessing and using on this level is only a vehicle. And once they leave this vehicle and go to the next level, they won't need a gender identity.
Yes. 38 of us.
Okay. Well, thank you.
We have 3 of our classmates here, Jimoti, Alodi, Devoti, and they all felt like they'd like to say something to the world before we leave. Alodi, something you'd like to say?
Okay, I'll go first. I know you've already heard us
this is
talk a
gonna
lot
get
about
interesting
restraint.
right
That's because
here.
every member of the next level is.
Look, you already know. You see that hat right there? Do you see that hat?
Restrained. Some, of course, are more restrained than others.
Wait, hold on. He said that they would like to say something to the world before they leave.
Because they're older and they've had a longer chance to grow taller. Naturally, our older members have encouraged us to grow as tall as we possibly could while we were here. Because in the heavens, we'll all be wearing midget-sized vehicles, and if we can't see over the spaceship console, we're going to miss out on a lot of spectacular scenery. You may have noticed that there are some in this class who have taken greater advantage of this opportunity than others, but don't let appearances deceive you. Green is not our favorite color, just mine. And I've worked long and hard to overcome that, without much luck, as you can see. But I do feel very lucky. We all do. And that is what I wanted to talk to you about. We saw Hook recently.
Okay. They cracking jokes. They finna die the next day. They cracking jokes. The sister on the far right, I think she had twin girls, newborn twin girls. Her and her husband gave up their twins to be in the group. Her husband left her, got the twins back. She did not want to leave the group. She only been in the group 6 months. She committed suicide with the rest of the group, 38 members, the next day. Also, 6 of the members were castrated in Mexico. They voluntarily went to Mexico to be castrated to show their devotion to the group. Okay?
On TV. And in the movie, Tinkerbell warns Peter Pan that every time someone stops believing in little people like her, a little person dies. When this vehicle was young, it read a book about elves and fairies and the like, and that book said the same thing. So I held on to that belief, even as an adult vehicle. In fact, the vehicle had plans to go to Ireland someday to track down the truth about the little people. Then one day in Oregon, in 1975, an article showed up in the campus paper. The headline said, "That little green man may be your cousin." The article described a Florida professor's presentation about the Aztec, New Mexico crash and the bodies found inside. Autopsies showed the beings had brains capable of superhuman intelligence.
When they use the word vehicle, they are referring to themselves. They would say child vehicle, adult vehicle. When they use the word vehicle, they're talking about their human bodies. All right, just for some clarification. Plus, I gotta stop every now and then. Anyway,
It said that they appeared to have no digestive or reproductive organs. I showed the article to Jan Odie. This was before we joined the class. And we thought, wow, this is going to be a big story. This is going to be big news. But nothing came of it. There was a total blackout. Even when we called the paper, they had no more information. Some months later, Chakotay and this vehicle's cousin showed up for an unexpected visit. Downtown, we saw a poster that said, UFOs, why they are here, who they have come for, when they will leave. It talked about reps from the evolutionary level above human. We went to Walport, Oregon on September 14, 1975, and we heard T and Doe speak. A few days later, we were all headed for training as part of the Next Levels Away team. Now, this vehicle knew it didn't fit in this world, but after I met my older members, saw them through these eyes, heard them through these ears, I knew where I belonged. I recognized them. There was something familiar about them. The little people I had been...
So, do you hear that? They read a story. They heard about this group that, you know, because their religion is connected to UFO, but like I said, their leaders used to be Christian evangelists. And see, people sometimes they have the wrong idea about people in cults. They're everyone ain't a victim. They have this way of thinking, and they're just waiting for their leader to show up. You see what I'm saying? If they don't get a leader, they still think the same way. They still live the same way. But if some fool comes by and say, hey, I believe like you, and I know what we know the same stuff, but I know more about this stuff. So let me be the leader because I know more than you about this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm impatient. I want to skip it to when the sister starts talking. Okay, so we're going to skip to her part.
About it. This is something I'm doing on my own free will, and nobody is really, forcing me to do this. It's something that I know deep inside is right for me, and I feel like that's important. The next level gives everybody their rights. They're very rights conscious, and they give them the freedom to do whatever they want. And I feel this is part of the freedom that they have given us, and the choice they have given us. And I am very excited about going. I can hardly wait, and I'm ready to go.
I wonder why when people say they're doing this on their own free will, nobody believes them. When they say I'm doing this and nobody's forcing me to do this, I actually believe you. I believe that you are foolish enough and crazy enough to do this on your own, and you want to do this. You know what I'm saying? He said he can't wait and he ready to go. Did you see the excitement in his eye?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Let me skip to the sister though.
How long have you been in the class?
I've been in the class, will be 6 months Sunday. I think I may be the last one up to this point to have come to be with T and Doe at this time. I'm very happy to be here.
Do you have any thoughts about this, what's next for us?
The only thoughts that I have is the preparation that I've made to separate from the vehicle. Leave it all behind. There's nothing here.
So, Key, are you saying that he didn't go through with it? Now, they did allow certain people to live. They appointed some members to live so they could tell the story and guess keep the group going. But there's another member who left the group who suffers from depression because he felt like he was left behind. He felt that he should have went with the group. So the next time I go live, I might show his story. One of the members, a couple of members that were left behind. But yeah, you believe them too. I believe them too. And this is what I'm saying. If you study Heaven's Gate members, we can understand Carbonnation members better, because Carbonnation is in their infancy stage. They're in their infancy stage, but remember, all these people were in the group 21 years before they killed themselves. This sister right here was only in the group 6 years. All right. So Carbonnation can be a Heaven's Gate 17 years from now. It could be a Heaven's Gate. 17 years from now, the chief could tell them to jump off a cliff or something. You know what I'm saying? Or jump in the rapids and drown or some shit. Okay?
For me, I want to look forward, keep my eye on Tiendo. That's my path.
Anything further?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity to say to you that T and Do, I recognized them. I mean, it just seemed like when I first met them, I knew that what they had to say was true. It wasn't something they said, it was something that
I don't know why they needed some members to stay alive. They only appointed maybe 1 or 2 people to stay alive, but there were some other members that either got kicked out or left right before. And when they went through what they call the transition to the next level, the members that left felt like, oh no, they did it. Oh, and I didn't go with them. They had that kind of attitude, like, oh no, they really did it. Oh damn, I could have went with them. Like, that's how crazy they are. You see what I'm saying?
But I knew inside me, I felt it was like I had known the material they were talking about, and it was like a recognition. And they have so much care for all of us. They think more of me than I have thought of myself for all these years, and it's what has kept me going. There's nobody on this planet that has cared for me more than they have, and all my love goes to them. And I'm happy. I just hope that I can be with them forever.
They don't.
They think more of me than I have thought of myself all these years. You know what I'm saying? They got some characters. I think I'm going to skip one group. I'm going to go to this group right here, because this one guy gets really choked up. Let me see. One of these guys get really choked up. I don't know. I'm going to skip them and go to them. Here we go. Roll tape.
Well, there are a few people out there that we've worked with over the years that might be able to push through that misconception. But I just want to say that this particular vehicle that I'm using, I know it had a deposit in it because from the time it was just a little kid, it looked around and observed what it was seeing around it, and it felt like something was missing. Now, it grew up in a situation that was as perfect as a little kid could ask for anywhere in this world. Everything was just great, but it felt like there was nothing significant to what it saw the adults doing and the lives it saw going on around it. So it just, this vehicle just waited, and then it took off and looked as hard as it could to find something worth living for. And it looked a long time, and it became very hardened and cynical, and I started to say sarcastic, and I guess I might as well say sarcastic because it was. But what I meant was skeptical, because when I sat down the first time with T and Do and had this vehicle there, it was as skeptical as anything could be, and it didn't feel like T and Do were anything special, except T and Do said that they had a formula of how to get out of the human kingdom to a level above human. And I said to myself, that's what I want.
Keep in mind that these people are cracking jokes, and either they're happy, cracking jokes, giggly, or they're crying out of happiness of their love for the group and the organization. These people are going to the next level tomorrow, but in reality, they're killing themselves, but they consider living suicide. They consider living suicide. And I have to interject every now and then just so YouTube won't strike my channel.
That's what I've been looking for. I don't care if this is, maybe they're crazy for all I know, but I don't have any choice but to go for it because I've been on this planet for 31 years and there's nothing here for me. And they were saying to the person I was with that they felt the last final ingredient would be for the vehicles to be dead, what humans call dead. And so I said to myself, great, if that's what it takes, that's better than being around here with absolutely nothing to do. So I don't feel there was any way that anybody could say that I was influenced by somebody's strong personality. The second time I sat with T and Do, I felt absolutely these people, there was no lie in them, that there was truth and goodness beyond anything I'd ever seen. They weren't selling anything to me because I didn't even...
Remember, we've been rolling for a while. I don't know how much Fundi has heard or seen. I don't know how much Fundi know about this, the background of Heaven's Gate. I'm not going to assume that I know what she knows, but they don't believe in gender identity. That's why they all got the Spock haircuts, and it's hard to tell a 26-year-old from a 46-year-old. One of the ladies is only like 24 or 26, and she looks 35 because her teeth is messed up. And 6 of the members were castrated in Mexico to show their dedication to the group. The average member joined in 1975 or 1976. The last sister that we showed, she's only been in the group 6 months, but she committed suicide the next day with the group. The oldest member was a black guy. The black guy is the brother of Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek. And this is their farewell video, and we're making observations and trying to draw the lines between Carbonnation and this group to let you know that they both use the internet to make money and to get members, but this group was the real deal because they supported themselves. They had their own property, and they felt that living was suicide, and they were completely all in. When you want to see real cult members, real believers, this is a perfect example. Unfortunately, they had a unfortunate demise.
Talk to them. I didn't say a word through both of these little meetings. They didn't say a word to me. They were simply talking to the person I was with, and I was just observing and listening. And shortly after that, I found myself in a campground, sitting around the fire. T and Do were talking, trying to teach us a little bit, and then I remembered I'd been here with this person before. I knew that it was the same person that was Jesus. Nobody ever told me that. It just came to me as clear as a bell. And I also want to say that I've been in this classroom with a bunch of classmates, and each one of them is so wonderful. You have no idea. These guys are just the bravest, strongest, most pure people. We put up with so many demons of this planet. You have no idea how the demons...
I wish I could get into the details of indoors because that's where I'm a little rusty. I've talked about this group on 2 other occasions on 2 other channels, but I'm a little rusty on the indoor situation. But I know that sex was out the question, but it did happen, and they were punished, and they had to act like they were on a ship even though they were in a house. So everything had protocol from opening the refrigerator door to turning on the light switch, and only 5 people could leave the house so the neighbors wouldn't know that it was 38 people in the house. So only the same 5 people was allowed to come and go from the house.
on this planet are because you haven't been in a position of trying to fight them. They'd be pretty good to you when you're working with them. When you decide you don't want them around, you have no idea how mean they are. So I just want everyone to know that everybody that's ever even been in this classroom, even if they had to leave for some reason and aren't with us now, I really thank each one of them for being wonderful and all the help that each one has given. And T and Doe, my classmates have been telling you a lot of things about them, and so I don't want to take any more time and let my partner talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I couldn't agree more with what she said. I tried hard to think of something to say that
they couldn't have sex, right, but there was a member that was either he left voluntarily or he was excommunicated, but he suffers from depression because he didn't leave with the group. He felt like the group left him behind, and he explained that they were against sex, but there were some slip-ups, where people, at least somebody got busy once or twice, and some members left and came back and felt like that, they had to see how the other world was, and they was like, oh no, I want to be back with the cult. But they cannot say, or we cannot say, that nobody has sex. It wasn't part of the rules. Sex was definitely out the question, but one of the members that survived, who didn't win, he said that it did happen, and when it did happen, people were punished.
that might have some meaning, might help you, certainly not for our sakes. We know what we're doing and we feel very happy about it. I guess I first heard about this about 22 years ago. This vehicle was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and read an article, I don't know if it was Time or Newsweek, some magazine, about how these space-age messiahs were going to leave on a UFO and take everybody to heaven from this small town, Oregon, and people were leaving their families, leaving their possessions and hitting the road. And I remember this particular vehicle that I've taken over here was from New York. Grew up cynical, skeptical, thought it seen every scam. It checked out Eastern religion, Western religion, pop psychology, thought it knew how everything worked. And so it was like wasn't, real susceptible to this, but it said, oh, well, I'll go to a meeting because if Jesus really did come again.
Yeah, they were married. There was T and Doe, but T died, and Ricky has some explaining to do. He has some, because that was not part of the plan, and that wasn't part of the presentation. So he said that she was going to be the ambassador between them and the aliens, and she was going there so she could help them prepare a place for the rest of them. Now he was getting desperate. That's why he decided to have everybody transition when Halley's Comet came, because he saw that if he died next, then the whole thing would fall apart. So when the Halley's Comet came and the scientists said that there was another object traveling behind Halley's Comet that they couldn't explain, he took that moment to say, hey, that's our ship coming to get us. So we need to transition now, or the ship is going to leave us.
I remember saying, well, I'd sure go with them in a minute. So a meeting came a few weeks later to Santa Fe, and I went to the meeting. And I sat there just dumbfounded. Instead of asking the real brilliant, cynical questions and sarcasm that this vehicle enjoyed doing, it just sat there listening. Everybody else got done asking questions. The only thing I remember saying is, gee, where do we go next? So I knew right away that everything made sense and this was it. It was just that simple. And I know that I didn't arrive at that intellectually. It was a knowing. I don't know how to explain it, but I knew it. I'd been there before. Everything since then has borne that out. The proof to me, every group I ever was connected with that this vehicle ever checked out in the world, the people is what turned it off. Either the guru or the master, the preacher, whatever. And the people that went there to the group. It would see them and it'd say, this isn't what I'm looking for. This isn't my family. And then so hard not to get choked up when you talk about this. But I met the people that are here. I met my teachers, Tiendo, and I knew that I knew all of them, and that they were my family. And
you see how he keeps referring to his body as a vehicle? That's very common amongst the group. The same way Carbonnation say that, you know, everything is just coming, it's just something that your mind has created or whatever. But you got to really, you know, we can sympathize with them, we can laugh at them, but we really need to listen to the words that they're saying and the language that they're using.
I've been happy ever since. I mean, it's been tough. Anybody who's been on this, like she said, you get hit with everything but the kitchen sink, trying to turn you away. But it's been wonderful. It's been very exciting. And we know that the spin doctors, you know, the people that make a profession of debunking everybody and putting down everybody are going to attack what we're doing, just like they attacked, you know, the Solar Temple and Waco and what have you. They're going to say, well, these people were crazy, they were mesmerized, they were whatever. And we know it isn't true, but how can you know that? And the only thing I can say is, to us, this step of laying down our these human bodies that we borrowed for this task, it's just as simple. Like, we watch a lot of Star Trek, a lot of Star Wars. It's just, to us, it's just like going on a holodeck. We've been on a holodeck. We've been in the training, astronaut training program for. We figured out a day equals 1,000 years, played it out mathematically. It's roughly 30 minutes. We've been trained.
Okay, that right there sounds like something True would say. Truly crazy, that's what I call him. But true by nature, truly immortal. That right there, see, he's the True of Heaven's Gate, or the True tries to be like him. They know that people think that they're crazy. They know how people feel about how they're thinking, whatever. So these people gravitate to each other. You know what I'm saying? They look for someone who has the same philosophy but is better versed in that philosophy, and then they let them take the wheel. And once again, I have to stop and pause like this because of YouTube policies, and hopefully this technique will work tonight.
Training on a holodeck for 30 minutes. Now it's time to stop. The game's over. It's time to put into practice what we've learned. So we take off the virtual reality helmet. We take off the vehicle that we've used for this task. We just set it aside, go back out of the holodeck to reality, to be with, you know, the other members on the craft in the heavens. It's, you know, call it another dimension, call it another reality. Who knows? We don't know what it is. We were kept blind, ignorant here, which is kind of the state with these vehicles, probably the best we can do. But it's that simple. I mean, you know, we're all looking forward to it. If you could just see it that way and just see how simple this is to us, because we don't identify as these bodies. We know they're not us. I don't know if that helps you any, but if you could just get into our headspace a little bit and just see how happy we are, and you know, how strong-willed we are about doing this and committed to this. I mean, I'm nothing without my older members, Tiendo, and I just can't wait to get up there with them. I don't have much else to say with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim Doe, and I disassemble rabbits. I help them on their journey to the next level. No, in all seriousness, I don't know what he's going to say, but it should be interesting. Okay?
Okay, we have Stiloti with us today. He's been our primary computer tech, and of course he's dabbled in a lot of different areas, and I think he'd like to talk about that right now.
I've been with this classroom for, I think, 22 years now. First met Tiendo in 1975. Saw their picture in a paper, and I knew that at that time, when I read about the information that they were presenting, and their position and who they were and what they were offering, that that was meant for me. I had suspected for some time that I was here for some type of task, not knowing what it was. But of course, after learning what T&O had to offer and the requirements that I was going to have to meet, I realized that I was part of the away team, that T&O.
Now, did you hear that? He said when he read the paper and saw the material and everything that they had to say, he knew that it was meant for him. So where is the brainwashing? Where is the victimization? He read what they said. He didn't even speak to them. He read a document and said, yeah, that's what I've been looking for. I feel the same way too. You see what I'm saying?
Were and are my older members who I look to for everything, and that following the information that they brought was what I had to do. I could not do anything else. And I am also one of the students in the classroom who, of my own choice, chose to leave the classroom for a period of time. 3.5 years to be exact, from mid-1988 through 1991. And during that time, I tried to do the best I could, acting as a human, and not a day went by that I didn't think about who I was and who my older members were and where I belonged, which is here with the away team and T&O. And I know that I needed that experience to get rid of the things that I needed to get rid of and to decide what I...
He tried to do the best he could acting as a human. Now, I was going to skip to the next person, but after he made that statement, I'm going to let him rock a little bit more.
I really wanted, and of course I'm here talking about it. I can't find adequate words to describe T&O. Many of you watching this are probably wondering what these people are like. You may have seen a videotape of Doe, read the information. Just the goodness that is inside of them and their dedication to the ways and procedures of the next level are beyond description. And I'm honored to be a part of this. I'm a student, I'm a member of the away team, I know that, and I hope to be a young member of the next level. There are certainly no guarantees as to that effect, but I know that the next step that we're taking is the right step for me, and I'm very grateful for it.
I'm going to move on to the next member, see what they got to talk about. Let's see what this gentleman have to say here. We're winding down to the last two, I think.
That they desired to have their vehicles neutered, and I'm one of those students that did that. And I can't tell you how free that has made me feel. I've been here long enough from the time I had that operation to know the freedom that it offers me. And I'm just so thankful for that opportunity. And in all reality, I can't see that this next step that I'm prepared to take and looking forward to taking is anything more than a clinical operation. And having seen the benefit that the neutering has had for my consciousness, for my ability to grow and be closer to my older member, that I can't...
Hold up. Wait a minute. This is one of the people who was castrated.
And I can't see any other way but to fully expect that laying down this vehicle is going to be anything but great for me. And, you know, individuals think of mind control or whatever, and I was in the class for 5 or 6 years and then through my own ignorance and being attacked by influences, felt like, well, maybe I wasn't developed enough. Maybe I wasn't a strong enough student to continue. Well, being out of the world proved to me, being out of the class, proved to me that this was the only thing for me. And for the number of years I was out there, I would have been deprogrammed easily being out there in the world because you're bombarded so steadily by everything of the world. And I know that one thing I may have.
Now look, he felt like he might not be a strong enough student to even be down with Heaven's Gate. He, he almost went back into the world and realized that, the normal world wasn't for him. And to show his devoutness, he went to Mexico and got castrated. He looked like a person. He has that castration look on his face. And of course, the next day, he left his vehicle.
Gained being out of the class is commitment. And I just want to express my commitment to my older member and T. And I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to be back in the class and to take this next step. And also just want to say how wonderful all of my classmates are and what a great inspiration they were for me to find out that there was still a class going on after the number of years that I'd been out. And that the fact that they stuck through it all, it's so hard. You have to be totally on top of things to even be in the class. So it's not like you're captured here. If you're not doing your homework and pleasing the next level, you're not going to be here. And I guess that's all I want to say, and bye.
Thank you.
We must have some level of sympathy because, after all, these people had family members. So, all jokes aside, my condolences to the family members, anybody that's related to these people. May they rest in peace. They were just on a different frequency. They were misguided. But, maybe they were right. Maybe we're wrong and they're right. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we have Wendody with us, and Wendody, I believe you were one of the first ones to become part of the class in this vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, and I'd like to really tell everyone out there that there is no greater gift that has been given to the world than what we and the next level have brought to you, and it's there for you if you seek it out. We all have our own expressions on what this has meant to us, and I probably, can't say it, of course, any better than anyone has already said it. We all feel very emotional at this time, and would really like to thank our older members, the next level, and for everything that they have given to us. We feel so, we are an away team. We came down here to do a task, and what they have given to us to take.
Yeah, this is Joy right here. This is Joy. I'm going to skip her up just a little bit and let her wrap it up from that part.
Grown to, we are going home so that we can be of service to future civilizations for all of you. And this is what we strive for. And in my last words, I would like to say that to my older members and all my classmates, of how much I truly appreciate all their help, their caring, their trust, their understanding and patience with all the growth that we've had to go through. And we just, there's no words again to express that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is a shame. This is a shame. It's a shame. They said that their favorite color was not green, but I do think their favorite color was purple. And you see how they have to put the ODY, they have to add the ODY to their name, because that was one of the rules. So I think, okay, this group, these two people and two more people, but we'll just listen to a snippet of this group and the other group, because I gotta crash, I gotta hit the sack. But let's move forward.
Okay, we have Alex Odie and Vern Odie with us, and I guess Alex Odie is going to wing it first.
Well, I've tried to think long and hard about what I'm going to say, and I know there's probably not a lot of time. So what I was trying to say briefly. I know that I was sent here for a task, and I'm not talking about this vehicle. I know that this vehicle was picked and prepped with my assistants and with T&Do's, and it was given a deposit. And that deposit in that vehicle sought and searched for the truth. And then my mind came in and started in incarnation back in 1975 in October, when I first heard this information about T&Do. And once I heard that information, it answered all my questions. And I could say all the things that my classmates on this tape have said before me, because I couldn't agree more. But I just want to say that I don't identify with this flesh vehicle, this flesh body. And those of you who see this tape, I'm not sure who you will be, but some of you may have worked with me. I may have met you when we have been out in the world.
See, there's a pattern here. There is a pattern. You know what I'm saying? The information didn't discover them. They discovered the information. And once they read it, because they know how to read and comprehend, they said, yeah, this is it. It's just like when you heard, it's not funny, but it's like when you first heard Rakim, check out my melody, or EPMD, you a customer, and you was like, oh shit, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to chill. That's how they felt, man. You can't say that they're a victim or they're brainwashed if they got that kind of feeling from what they interpreted. You know what I'm saying? You have people that are born to be in cults, and then you got people that are born to be cult leaders. And a lot of things started out as cults and became legitimate as the numbers grew, like religion. Every religion started out a cult, and then it grew in such large numbers that it became a bona fide religion.
World, service to the next level, doing various tasks. And like Ginodi said, I wanted to tell you who we were and what we were about, and now I can tell you. And I know that we're at the end, and I look very, very forward.
And I'm planning on following my older member no matter where he goes or what it is. That is what I want to do and what I have to do. And I'm very thankful for the design of that. And that's all.
I also want to thank T&Do and the members of the Next Level who have been extremely, more than fair, more than patient with many of us, including myself, who have genetic packages that tend to be so difficult to try and control. And I'm just very, very thankful that this end of the part of the task is over. Thank you.
What is so damn funny? You're going to leave your vehicle tomorrow and you're laughing. You're happy to leave your vehicle.
Okay, we have Logodi and Tolodi with us, and I guess Tolodi has something he would like to say.
Well, I'd just like to say that I'm about to take an act that probably this world would consider the most awful thing that any person could do. And I can understand their point of view because their life is banked on the physical body and the desires that that physical body has in it. And that's perfectly understandable from their point of view. However, in the 21 years that I have been in this classroom, I have learned to deny this physical body and gain strength of the next level mind, which is a much finer, different type of matter. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shed this husk. It's worthless. It's useless to me. Just like a caterpillar and the chrysalis is over with. He's a new creature. There's no point in sitting there going, oh my goodness, that chrysalis is, over there and I'm, still attached to it. That's ridiculous. What I'm about to do is no different than that, not one iota. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this chrysalis down.
They are serious as a heart attack. These are grand finale statements. See, they save the most devout for the end, the most hardcore for the end. Look how calm they are. Look how serious they are. They're not playing. This is a real cult. Quotation marks, quote unquote. So when you look at something like Carbonnation, they some posers, all right?
And I'm going to emerge into another kingdom level that humans have no knowledge of. And they interpret along religious lines, which is basically misinformation. But the bottom line is that I am doing this of my own free will. I have chosen to do it. It's not something that somebody brainwashed me into or convinced me of or did a con job on. Something I have grown to know and to understand. And of my own will, I have chosen to do. And if anybody feels bad about that, that's their problem. It's my choice. Because of the kind of society that we have in this world, and especially in this Western country,
he said that this is something that I have chosen to do. Nobody did a con job on me or brainwashed me. This is what I wanted to do. I mean, listen to his words. Listen to his words, what he say. He wasn't tricked into this. He knew what they was about. He read the information. He studied them and said, yeah, they are onto something.
You have a problem with they don't let you do what you want to do with your life. So we're choosing to do this. You'll see this tape after I have put this physical body down, and that's the way it is. So we have no choice about it. If for the record, if people want to know why we're choosing to do this, I think this planet has become a very, very hideous place. They take control of you from the cradle to the grave. You have no choices except when the next level offers you some choices. And most of the time, you're herded around like animals. You have no choices. What they put in front of you are your choices. I don't like what they put in front of me. I'm making the final choice here. The choice is out of their hands, what I'm going to do from here on. That's the way I'd like to leave it. Goodbye.
Well, Cody?
If you can see by the age of this container that I'm wearing.
Now, you hear what he's saying now, and he is not laughing. Look at the expression on both of their faces, and now the other OG is about to speak. Okay? You are missing out. They about to do something great, and you're not even allowed to join them because the membership is closed. And they've been waiting 21 years to do this. Okay?
That it's not a youngster. And I've been in this classroom for almost 22 years now. Remember that Doe talked about in the initial tape, his older member Well, T and Do are the older members to this classroom. Do is my older member, and T is his older member. And so the chain goes up the command all the way to the Chief of Chiefs. But if it wasn't for our older member, we would be in the same boat that you're in, that we wouldn't know anything about the kingdom of God or what it's about. It's someplace that all religions talk about. It's someplace that you want to go. But through the course of misinformation, it's unfortunate that we were the ones who took the opportunity, left the world behind, and here we are. Now, I've known my older member before this journey, and I knew him 2,000 years ago. I was in his classroom then. It was a short classroom, and we didn't learn very much. It was an agonizing experience to have to then rattle around the human world for so many years before we eventually dropped these vehicles on the particular pursuit of the tasks that we were given. So we were told that we were going to come back again, which we've done this time.
Wow, did you hear that? He said he knew him 2,000 years ago, and he was in his classroom then. See, the other members wasn't talking like this. See, these guys are right. They're like the squad leaders. They're right underneath the code leaders. You see what I'm saying? They super hardcore. Just look at the expression on their face. They actually think the leaders are like a messiah. Okay. But trust me, the last few words they say is just gonna be like, really? Like what?
And I was in this container was in the human world to the extent that it was part of the quote establishment. And I could have left this class at any time, and we were always encouraged to do so if there was anything out there in the world that attracted us. But I didn't consider myself, someone that was foolish in that I was just jumping off the deep end and doing something without careful consideration. Because I had always checked it out thoroughly every step of the way, and it's always proved itself out. All I can say is that this is the most exciting time for us because this is the end of the class. This is everything that we've waited for. This is the end of the civilization that we talked about not only 2,000 years ago, but in prior times when we had association with members of the next level who came and tried to move up the civilization. We were all part of those classes also. So here we are. It's been a long 6,000 years, and the next level or the kingdom of God isn't something that you join and get to over a little 6 weeks course. It takes a long time, but it's prove it to them. They've never had anything to prove to us. It's always, well, if you seek us, then by learning the lessons, you will then know afterwards that the proof is in the pudding. So T and O, we owe everything to them. We're going to lay these vehicles down here shortly, and what we're doing is we're going home. We're going home to those individuals who sent us here to do this task. And this is the happiest and joyous thing that you can possibly imagine. We're going home. We've got a place to go.
This is amazing how to them this is like an eye-opener. Like they can't understand why nobody else can't understand how wonderful this is. And now that he's gotten to this point in his speech, the other person has woken up because he had a serious look on his face the whole time. But they're coming to the climax of what he's trying to explain. And trust me, nobody saw this video until after they committed suicide. And what else? I don't know. It's crazy.
To go to. Now you're going to find this old crummy vehicle in a bunk someplace, that I'll be gone. I'll probably be watching when you check it out and observe your responses and your reaction when you look at these vehicles. And they're all nothing but containers that we've used and borrowed for the short amount of time. So we have nothing but gratitude and joy and thankfulness to our older members for giving us this opportunity, and we're going to be able to help this human civilization for a much greater and taller perspective than you can possibly imagine. So with that, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll maybe be talking to you again. You never know.
I don't think we'll be talking anytime soon. It's been more than a decade, and I haven't heard from you yet. But R.I.P. Bro, you know what I'm saying? You know, you stuck to your beliefs, you stuck to your guns, you showed your devoutness, you did what you said you was gonna do, and you practiced what you preached. Unfortunately, it led to your own demise. But like I said, this is a real code. This ain't a pretend code. This ain't a for play code. They never once begged for money or asked for donations. They generated their own cash from designing websites, and they exchanged the information with people the old-fashioned way with flyers and posts, but they also communicated later on through the internet with members. And they actually reached a point where they turned down people. The black lady was the last member that they allowed to be in the group, and she was quite proud of it. And like I said, she was only in the group 6 months versus the average member was there for 20 to 21 years. And she committed, she was so hardcore, she committed suicide, only being 6 months into the group. And she had just had some twin babies, possibly girls, and luckily her husband quit the group and got custody of the children back. You see what I'm saying? Let's see here. Let me read the chat room, because I'm sure the chat room is saying something. But of course, I'm messing around with these, you know what I'm saying? Messing around with the OBS studio, making sure things are smooth. So let me see here. I didn't get any warnings from YouTube that I see, but I couldn't watch the the feedback because I was playing the video on a different thing. So and I was showing my whole screen, and it would have showed, basically this would have looked unprofessional. I did the best I could, and I just had to do what I was told to keep YouTube from shutting down the show. Anyway, it says, what state? They were in California. They I don't know if you were asking what state the cult was in, but HeavensGate was in California, and 38 people lived in the house at the same time. Yes, indeed. That's what I'm talking about. That was a trip.
Oh, look, go and record. You're not? Okay, give me some. Yeah, just warm up. Well, you can do a record in Mormon. you be cutting it up anyhow.
Yeah, but the noise.
Is it more work, huh? When you get
It's already noisy enough. So yeah, we went through the motions. Like that was, I'm shit. It's time for me to go to bed, but definitely catch that playback, man. Like we went through Heaven's Gate, and I want to do more on Heaven's Gate because I want to show the member that was left behind, and some of the rules that they had inside the house. Because, like I said, inside the house, they act like they were on the Starship Enterprise. And ironically, one of the members was the brother of an actress from Star Trek. Lieutenant Uhura brother was in Heaven's Gate. He probably put the stamp on the group and made it more valid because he was one of the top 3 oldest members of the group. You know what I'm saying? It's been real, and I could go longer, but I don't want to waste the other graphics I have set up. I can always use that for the next show, and I don't have to spend an hour preparing for the show. So this is the main screen right here. I call it the lead-in screen, and this is where I got all the GIFs, the animated GIFs, and the memes to make fun of people in the lead-in screen. And this was interesting. I hope Code 101 exploring Heaven's Gate, people give it a chance and leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? Oh, her real name? Yeah, I think it is. That's some Negro trivia for you right there. I used to call her Lieutenant Uhura, like Uhuru. You know, but I know they were playing on that word though, because it was those times, those eras. You know, like when she kissed Captain Kirk. You know, but he was hypnotized or under some kind of spell, I guess. But it's been real. I'm gonna do the outro, and I'll save the rest of the graphics and music for the next show. And I always feel that this outro is appropriate when I do stories like this. And here we go.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.